Nvidia is in big trouble with the US government and YouTubers. The Chromecast is officially dead, and your RTX 50 card might be a little delayed. Some hiccups. Let's get in the hot news, everybody. I'm your Brett host. We're gonna be going over the hottest tech news I can find on the internet while you enjoy your breakfast this Wednesday, August 7th, 2024. And I want to apologize for missing yesterday's episode of Hot News. My family and I are here on vacation, but we actually got affected by the hurricane that recently hit the southeast portion of the United States. It knocked out our internet for about 18 hours, so I was not able to get to any sort of content yesterday. So thanks for parting my dust, and thank you for watching this episode of Hot News, because I know that Ryzen 9000 reviews probably drop right about now since the sale date is tomorrow. Looking forward to it. We did not get samples here at UFD Tech, so you get regular hot news instead, because that's what you deserve. And some people would say that maybe Nvidia is getting what they deserve because the US has opened an investigation over antitrust allegations against Nvidia because they have done quote unquote market abuse, suggesting that Nvidia has threatened to penalize customers who buy products from other companies who might be mad if you rearrange their letters, maybe charging higher rates if they decided to purchase AI chips from another company. All of that stuff that, you know, has allegedly been reported here on Hot News, covering other people's words potentially, but then Nvidia has said, we compete based on decades of investment in innovation, scrupulously adhering to all laws, making Nvidia openly available in every cloud and on-prem for every enterprise, and ensuring that customers can choose whatever solution is best for them. So not really formally addressing it, but this is not the first antitrust allegation that Nvidia is facing. They also have ones going on over in France with regards to their behaviors and treatments of competitors and people who purchase from them. AMD is probably going to have to make statements in all of this. So this is going to be a long, winding road, but Apple in the crosshair of the US justice system for antitrust stuff. Nvidia in the crosshairs. We're going to talk about Google, who's definitely in the crosshairs for that, but also in people looking at what's happening out in the world. It's back to school time right now, so you should check out today's video sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by ProtoArch and their back to school sale. ProtoArch's vast ecosystem of products is perfect for students of all kinds to build the perfect workspace to fit their unique needs. With a focus on improving health and workflow, ProtoArch puts ergonomics and portability at the forefront of their product design. In our ProtoArch back to school workstation, we have the Ergo Chair 100, Ergo Desk 100, the EK01 split keyboard, and the XKM01 trifold keyboard kit. The Ergo Chair 100 mesh office chair features exceptional ergonomic support with an adaptive lumbar, 3D adjustable armrest, and a saddle-shaped cushion to disperse pressure. The Ergo Chair 100 electric standing desk is reinforced with a sturdy steel frame supporting a spacious desktop with monitor risers, laptop stands, and a convenient storage drawer. Raising from 28.35 inches to 46.45 inches, the Ergo Desk 100 promotes healthy and ergonomic usage over extended study sessions. The EK01 Plus ergonomic split keyboard features customizable LED backlights, Bluetooth and 2.4 gig wireless, and integrated wrist rest. The split layout works to reduce wrist and forearm strain during long typing sessions. And lastly, we have the XKM01 trifold Bluetooth keyboard and mouse combo. With its compact design, 105 key layout, and a slim mouse with 3 dpi settings, this combo is great for when you just need to grab your laptop and go to class and start tippy typing all your notes. As long as you have a professor that allows you to bring a laptop into the class. I had a few that wouldn't let me do that at all. And while we have a ProtoArch trackball mouse in our setup here, the EK01 keyboard also comes in a combo that includes an ergonomic mouse. You get all the benefits of the EK01 Plus ergonomic keyboard with the addition of one of ProtoArch's ergonomic mice featuring palm and thumb rests and navigation buttons. Bring your workstation to its full potential while also keeping yourself comfortable with ProtoArch's complete ecosystem of ergonomic peripherals during their back to school sale. You can check it out via the link in the video description. Thanks to ProtoArch for sponsoring today's video. Well, ProtoArch would be great for writing up reports on exactly how this historic ruling from the US justice system is against Google, declaring that Google is a monopolist and has had monopoly tendencies. And after carefully considering and weighing the witness testimony and evidence, the court reaches the following conclusions: that it's a monopolist and it has acted as one to maintain its monopoly, citing things such as Google saying, hey, we pay Apple to keep our search engine. We don't stop them from making their own. There's no non-compete, to which the judge has come out and said, well, the fact that they're just receiving all of that money makes it so they are less inclined to to create a competitor, therefore it is monopolistic behavior. So how does this all play out? I've read a few different takes on exactly what's going down. The likelihood that Google is going to be broken up into different sections doesn't appear to be very high. That appears to be one of the least likely scenarios, but there's likely to be a fine. There are likely to potentially be some spin-off companies that happen from this, but there's also probably just things that Google has to change internally with some of their policies on how they operate in order to make sure that they're not doing all of these monopolistic practices. But we talked about Nvidia in bad standing with the US government, Google in bad standing. What if they got together and they just commingled ideas to make it so that they could scrape all of YouTube for videos to train their AI? That's exactly what's coming out with leaked documents from Nvidia internally, Slack documents showing that Nvidia decided to just basically scrape a ton of YouTube videos to the tune of 80 years worth of content per day, which is something that the CEO Jensen Huang absolutely wanted. But also one of the things that came out was that they talked to Google about this, and Google gave them full permission, saying that they're happy that they're doing this because they're utilizing Google Cloud. So Nvidia is paying them for storing and taking all of this data, when in reality, YouTube would typically get some ad revenue. So Google's still getting paid out of this transaction, and so it's totally fine. It's under fair use. It's all good and well. Unless, of course, you are a Dell employee, because it's being reported that Dell is laying off 12.5 thousand employees, which is a large amount, but is honestly, just speaking candidly here, way more employees than I thought Dell had. So I looked up to see what percentage this was, and it's not even 10%. Dell has over 150,000 employees as of 2021, which is just mind-boggling for me. As somebody who remembers the "dude, you're getting a Dell" commercials, I didn't realize that they were this massive, especially because I don't particularly engage in the enterprise and all of the other things where Dell's main business is. And where Intel's main business is trying to make sure that the stock market doesn't hate them right now. So the CEO, Pat Gelsinger, decided to tweet out, some people think I'm gonna talk about scripture because that appeared to be a meme over the time that he did that, even though he's been doing that for years. A lot of people were like, oh, he's asking God to help because the company's sinking, when in reality, that's something he's been doing for ages. No, tweeting out that Panther Lake and their 18A process is on track, and that Clearwater Forest is also leaving the fab. Both of these have powered on and have successfully run operating systems. So they do appear to be on track for not the next gen, which is gonna be Lunar Lake, but the one that supersedes that, which is going to be Panther Lake. I don't remember what I was saying because my memory card ran out of room, so I'm just gonna continue with Google not remembering to keep products alive. Another thing killed by Google, and it's the beloved Chromecast, this little device that I picked up in 2013, 2014. I love this. It helped you to convert a regular old TV into a smart TV. You could cast things to it. It was revolutionary at the time. It was a necessary bridge from previous non-connected TVs to the smart TV era, but don't worry, they're gonna have a replacement for it, and it's gonna be a great name of the Google TV streamer, because Chromecast is too hard to say, and it definitely, the new device, which is this AirPower looking thing that Apple abandoned, you couldn't call this a Chromecast. That would be impossible. You can't keep that lineup. You can't call it the same thing. You go from Nexus to Pixel. You go from Chromecast to Google TV streamer. Don't wait for this to die, because it's gonna die too. At least the remote that you get with it works with at least some of the newer Chromecasts, so it's not completely dead in the water. So Reece, save me from my sorrows. Tell me how to save money so that I can buy one of these Google TV streamer plus Apple, Disney, Hulu things.
Yo, welcome back to UFD Deals, bringing the hottest tech deals out on the internet. It is Wednesday, my dudes. Hope you guys are doing well, and we have some deals for you today. Starting off with this EPO Maker EK68. This variant of the 65% wireless hot-swappable mechanical keyboard is going for only $62.99 with the coupon applied, making it $27 off. But then back again, we have the Dell G2724D. This 27-inch 1440p 165Hz IPS monitor is going for only $179.99, but you can get a further discount if you sign up for Dell's reward program or if you use an education email during checkout. And then lastly, we have the Beyerdynamic DT990 Pro studio headphones, which you can pick up for only $139.99 with included promo code, making it $40 off. And hey, with that, the deals are done. You can find these and more linked in the video description down below. But until next time, I'm gonna hand you off back to Brett for the rest of your hot news. Cheers.
Well, Reece, if you're in the market for a budget GPU, GPU good deals allegedly coming your way. New reports are that AMD is gearing up to release the RX 7400 and RX 7300 budget graphics cards. There's no real report on exactly the release time and or the pricing, which is probably going to help to dictate a lot of whether or not these cards are worth it, especially with things like the RX 6400 when it did weird things like get rid of encoding, like H.264 encoding, I believe it doesn't have. It can decode it, but it can't encode it, which is like such a backward step. But potentially this is gonna compete with the RTX 3050. There's an idea of generally how well it'll perform between 4 and 6 gigabytes of VRAM. We really won't know more until it actually starts being announced by AMD. But what's being announced in the rumor mill is that the RTX 4070 is gonna be slightly slower. A cut down version of the mid-tier card is allegedly going to be hitting the market, especially because of the memory shortage that we've been talking about. GDDR6X appears to be in short supply in some markets, so the RTX 4070 was gonna have to potentially not enter production. But now Nvidia looks like they're just gonna release it with GDDR6, and it's gonna be slightly slower, 20 gigabits per second versus the 21 gigabits per second that's on the current 4070 card, which allegedly would make it 5% slower in the memory department. So in case that breaks your bottom dollar, maybe don't consider picking one up. Hopefully they drop the price. That'd be nice. Drop it down to like $449. They wouldn't do that. Like $474. That'd be great. $474.99 Nvidia maybe. But while they're having trouble producing the RTX 4070, it also looks like they're having trouble producing the 50 series, or Blackwell as it's known. Now, this might not actually affect gaming graphics cards, but it does appear to be affecting the AI data center cards for Blackwell, such as the B200 GPUs, because as it's being reported, TSMC is actually having a manufacturing issue, switching from their chip on a wafer substrate S to chip on a wafer substrate L, and that's made it slightly difficult for them to actually get their units of Blackwell out on the market. So they're gonna have to slip by a few months, pushing it potentially into Q2 of 2025 instead of late this year, early next year. Now, the gaming GPUs will not likely be put on the COWOS. How am I supposed to pronounce that? Let me know how to do that down below in the comments. But the TSMC fabrication facility for gaming GPUs could be slightly different, but maybe Nvidia is looking to have a unified synonymous launch between the data center and the gaming side. The data center people are spending way more money than gamers will, so it might not necessarily look good to hand out Blackwell to gamers before they get it out to the companies that have paid billions of dollars to have these chips. We'll have to wait and see how it actually plays out, but it does appear to be some severe delays that are happening. Like this episode of Hot News was delayed, so I have to look at your comments from Monday. They're a day old and just like McDonald's fries left on a cold counter, but I'm still gonna eat them anyways because you need me to talk to you. We got Playing It Wrong saying RMA with threats of detaining your products without refunding. MF's just criminals. And it's Dion saying it seems like Intel keeps on burying themselves every day. So this was a conversation that I ended up having behind the scenes with some people who let me know that the Reddit post wasn't entirely the whole story. The Reddit poster did end up receiving what they asked for at the end of the day from Intel, but the only thing I have to say in retort to that is that even if it was a long, convoluted process and things got really difficult and they ended up getting what they want at the end of the day, this has been months in the making and the process for how to go about things is not clear. The fact that every stage of communication from Intel is contact customer support is pretty lacking in terms of people feeling like they're taken care of. And if we see people who feel like they're not being taken care of in an environment where that has been the narrative, because it hasn't been until very, very recently that things like warranty extensions have happened, that it doesn't appear to come across as genuine. The support team members who are supposed to be dealing with this are not properly trained, to which I've heard the response of like, but they probably just found out about it, except for we've known about these issues since before May. This has been a problem that has been long-standing that they've had time to develop a systemic solution for, and they have chosen to do it later rather than sooner, which puts us in this whole thing. And especially the fact that Intel in their latest report on extending warranties has said something to the effect of, if you were denied before, contact us again. Why? What changed? You're not communicating what you're doing behind the scenes to make it so that the person who got denied the first place is gonna have a better time the second go around. It's lackluster communication. I have continuously come out against AMD when they've done certain things like this, back when the 7900 XTX reference coolers were having issues. If any other company did this, I would be beating on this same drum of your communication is not clear enough to your end consumer where they feel like they can trust you. And of course, stories where people say they got screwed over for you are going to be believable because there's plenty of them out there, even if people behind the scenes found out about that story and changed some certain aspects. And the fact that it's not company-wide being handled properly is exactly why we're in the situation we are right now. But I do want to address this next comment from Inferno Trees saying that Puget, I said that terribly, Inferno Trees, I'm so sorry. That Puget Systems report is disgusting. Reading further into the article shows that they are extremely conservative with Intel power settings, reducing a little bit of performance to ensure stability. Consequently, not doing the same for AMD shows they're failing at a higher rate rather than providing an accurate rate of failure for Ryzen versus Core. Considering Puget is an Intel partner, this seems incredibly suspicious. So to counter a few things, if you read the report, they also tweaked the BIOS on AMD. This is not problematic. I saw a few people being like, why is AMD so high? A 4% failure rate is not incredibly high, especially when you're dealing with workstations where you're putting these things actually through their paces. And you know, the AMD failure rate of 4% isn't absurd considering where it has been historically for both AMD and Intel based on Puget's own data. So it doesn't appear to be like they're saying AMD is worse in any regard. And also, if you read the report in its full entirety, they say, hey, while right now Intel is failing at a lower rate, we're starting to see this crop up. Most of the failures are happening after 6 months, and most of the failures are happening in the field, and it's continuing to grow. So it's possible that the failure rate will exceed everybody else. So they don't paint Intel in a good light here. Additionally, considering Puget is an Intel partner, AMD EPYC solution providers, find a partner offering AMD processors. If we just scroll down Puget Systems, they're a partner for both of them because they work with both of them to put their chips in their system. It's not a conspiracy. They have relationships with both AMD and Intel, and very likely Nvidia for GPUs to make sure that they're integrating them well into their systems. If you go on Puget's website and you try to find a system to build for whatever you're trying to do, they equally offer AMD and Intel. The report didn't come across as biased to me in a way towards being kind to Intel. It just showed their data and then talked about what the ramifications were and what they expect to happen moving forward, which is they're expecting that Intel CPUs are going to fail at a higher rate than that's seen historically, and they're extending their warranty to make sure that they're covering their customers. So it was a healthy report towards their customers. They're an AMD partner as well as an Intel partner, and I didn't find it as controversial as I see a lot of people did for the reasons that have been brought up at least. And I'm gonna bring up tomorrow's episode of Hot News. Hopefully I'll be here. I have to move locations. The hurricane thing changed things around for us, so I will see you back here for more of the hottest tech news tomorrow, my friends. Goodbye.